Hey guys, Synthetic here, and as you can see we are back in AOR, this time for the Spanish Grand Prix. And here you're seeing at the moment my fastest lap in qualifying, which was a rainy session, which on the one side helped me because my pace in the rain was quite solid, but on the other side it was very tricky because the rain later would be dry completely, and we all had to drive with a dry setup in quali, which can cause a lot of oversteer, and you might be able to see this as well over the lap. I had a few moments here, for example, and another problem was I got too close to the car in front, which was my fault because I didn't really have too much time to set another lap, and I knew I could go a lot quicker compared to the last lap I did. And here you can see I got a little bit of oversteer, which cost me a little bit of time, but here I was really cautious and really quick around, and I managed to find over a tenth. And in the third sector as well, I chose to go down to lean because I wanted to have as much traction as possible, which can be very vital around here. And here you can see we are quite close, and the dirty air isn't really helping us. And Curly set the fastest lap so far, so let's see whether we are able to match him or get past. And yeah, it doesn't seem to be like this. So we're starting in P2, which I was quite happy about because I knew my race pace would help me. But here now to the race, it's 5 red lights and lights out, and away we go. And we got quite a bad start. We had a lot of wheel spin, especially in second gear. And Ollie is already next to us, and let's see, we are able to get quite a solid run through the first corner, but we have to leave the space for Ollie, and we fortunately have the inside line for this corner, so we are able to keep the position. And Curly already had a little bit of a gap now, so we have to close him down. So let's see how that goes. And the strategy around here was quite simple, starting on the softs and finish the race on the hards. And yeah, my plan was to save my tires as much as possible because I wanted to be able to attack, especially at the end of the stints. And here, especially in the last sector, you can see I gained quite a lot of time because of my higher wing settings. And yeah, I knew I could go quicker, and it was just a question of saving the tires, waiting for a mistake. I didn't want to do any kind of aggressive moves, and here you can see that was basically the problem I had. I couldn't really overtake because slipstream wasn't strong enough to pull me alongside, so I had to do something different, wait on a mistake or get closer in the last corner. And here again we got closer and closer, but it wasn't really enough to really mount a challenge. And suddenly we are a little bit of trouble because Ollie is right behind us, and he was really quick over the race. And here you can see he looks a little bit for the inside. We gave him just a little bit of space to avoid contact, and here again I have to give him a little bit of space. It's sometimes quicker to go around the outside because there's a lot more grip. And here you can see I lost the back end a little bit, but I think Ollie wasn't quite close enough to attack me, and I think he had to fight against Chocolate. And yeah, quite an eventful first laps. It was really close between the top 4, and now to the later stages of the lap, we were really able to stay close to Curly in the last sector, and let's see with DRS how close can we get, or can we get past. We're getting closer and closer. Is it enough? No, it doesn't seem so. So yeah, we just have to try and hopefully we can get closer in the next 2 laps. And yeah, here you can see 1 lap later we were able to again stay very close, and this time I was able to get a better run out of the last corner, and we were really close this time. So let's see whether we are able to get past, and we're getting again closer, and we are now able to get past and brake later, but we went a little bit wide and have to leave a little bit of space, but at the end we are able to get past, and suddenly we are leading the race, which was quite surprising to me. But my plan from here on in was not really to push to the 100%, simply because I didn't want to have too much tire wear, and I wanted to be able to push at the later stages of the race to get a little bit of a gap and try an overcut on Ollie, because it's quite an advantage to have fresher tires. And also, if you're pushing too much, you're allowing to make a little more mistakes running wide or getting any kind of warning or penalty, and that were things I really didn't want to happen. And here you can see my laps were quite consistent, not that quick. I think I was 3 or 4 tenths quicker in training, but yeah, here you can see Ollie went into the pits on lap 11, and I went for the overcut because I knew the softs were quite solid at the end. As you can see, my tire wear wasn't that bad, and as you will see in a second, my sector times weren't that slow compared to my tire wear. And yeah, I just hope that he might get a little bit of traffic or had to fight a little bit, because I knew a few people would start on the harder compound of tires, and maybe they would slow him down a little bit. And yeah, that was basically my plan. And yeah, quite solid lap so far. I think I was just about a half a tenth slower compared to my fastest lap, which was very consistent. If you keep in mind that these tires are already 12 laps old. And yeah, that was basically the race. Not the race, the lap. And we are going into the pits now. Try to be very cautious, because it's easy to put the car in the wall here, or to speed in the pit lane, and that were both things I didn't want to happen. And here you can see we managed to get out ahead of Ollie, but behind the car, which was, I think, overtaking. And yeah, now was a part which caused me a lot of problems, because my higher wing settings would make me quite slow in the straight, and here you will see this will be very difficult for me, because I had to find a way through, because Ollie of course would catch me if I stay behind him, because already has had to do another pit stop and he went defensive. So I tried to brake as late as possible and tried to do a similar move on him like I did on Curly, and fortunately I could make the move. And at this point I didn't really want to do any kind of risky moves. I always tried to be very cautious, don't try any dive bombs, because it's so easy to destroy your front wing, and that would basically ruin the race, and I didn't want to happen that kind of mistakes. So I waited, I was really cautious. Here I could go for the dive, but I decided against it because of the reason I mentioned earlier. I really wanted to wait on a mistake or wait on a point where I could get better traction, and here you can see I got a warning which wasn't that good, but fortunately I saw that he went a little bit wide and I managed to get through. But unfortunately he went to the pits after this lap, so basically it cost me quite a lot of time, and Ollie was all over my back in the laps after this, and he was able to get closer and closer every lap. He was really quick, and at this point I was also not pushing quite at the limit. I tried to save my tires again, save my fuel, because I knew it would be quite difficult for Ollie to overtake. And yeah, at this point I started to push it a little bit more. You can see my laps got faster and faster with every following lap, because I wanted to put him a little bit under pressure. But here you can see I made one mistake too much, and this was really frustrating. I thought there's absolutely no way I can win now, because most of the time Ollie doesn't have a penalty, and I saw Kars was behind him under 3 seconds, and I knew it would be really difficult to get a gap which was big enough. So I tried to push more and more in the last 2 laps. I really tried to drive over the limit, which helped me a little bit. I was able to push Ollie out of the DRS zone, but it wasn't quite enough to get a bigger lead. But I will spoil you guys now and say that Ollie indeed had a penalty, and Kars as well, which basically meant that we were leading this race, which was quite incredible, because this would be our 3rd win of the season in 5 races. And yeah, I really wasn't expecting that kind of start, and I hope I can continue this streak, although it will be really difficult, because Ollie and the other guys are so quick and the field is so close together. And yeah, it will be quite fascinating to see whether we can continue like this. And that was basically the race. We were able to win, and thank you guys for watching, and I hope to see you guys next time in Silverstone, and goodbye.